Good.
What'd they say?
He gave me 2 prescriptions.
He gave you 2 prescriptions?
Yes.
Okay, did they talk? You talked about your breathing?
Yes.
And what did he say?
He gave me 2 prescriptions, and he said that it's not chronic. And he just checked my lungs, my mouth, and my nose, and my ears.
Oh, and what did he say about your lungs?
He said they were all good.
Oh, he did? Oh, okay. But did y'all talk about you? But you went. Did y'all talk? Did they talk specifically about you breathing?
Sorta.
Sorta. Okay. Ain't that nothing wrong with your lungs?
No.
Did he ask you to say what caused you to not breathe like that?
No. He told him about my inhaler when I was like 4.
He said you what?
He talked to him about when I used to take that thing when I was 4.
And what did he say?
He didn't say anything about that.
Oh, he didn't. No, you in bathroom?
No. I'm in the hallway.
Oh, you at home?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. But he said he wrote your prescription for you?
Yes. We already have them.
And I was got them? Alright, good deal. And then like your other pills?
He gave me like 10 pills, and then he said after that I can start taking like this other medicine like Claritin. That would help. And then he gave me the inhaler 200 puffs.
200 inhalers that you use?
Yeah, except without that big giant mouth thing.
Oh, okay. What do you spray it in your body? Spray it in your mouth?
Twice a day.
Oh, okay. Alright, good deal. How was school today?
Good.
Good?
Well,
So, you today too?
yes, but we didn't really do anything. We just talked about the rules and everything.
Oh, in all your classes?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you still like the same teacher?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Alrighty.
Alright.
I'll see you in a minute. I'm way home.
How far are you from here?
I'm getting on Floyd now. I mean, not Floyd, but on Metropolitan Parkway. You know, where I turn off the highway and then make that left turn.
Oh, okay.
Alright. You got the shower?
No.
You don't take it.
Okay.
Were you tired today?
Yes.
Alright. Don't get your shower.
Alright.
Alright, baby.
Alright.
Alright, love you, bye.
Love you, bye. What? Don't zoom.
Hi, this message is for Mr. Doyle. My name is Elizabeth Doyle. I'm one of Vince's social studies teachers. I was just calling to report some poor behaviors in class. Last Friday, I took off points from Vince's behavior card for talking in class. This placed him only 2 points away from serving an in-team isolation. And then today there was another incident that occurred. We had a fire drill, and Vince decided not to follow instructions. He was being insubordinate during the fire drill, did not get up and leave when he was asked to multiple times. Instead, he was retrieving gum, which is not allowed in school to begin with. So he was choosing to break another rule while not following teachers' instructions, and then refused to handed over when asked multiple times. I did finally confiscate the gum. I did write him up on a referral, so you will be getting contacted from our administrator. End of message. To delete this message, press 7. To save it in the archives, press 9. You're resaved. Next message.
Hey, Dad, before you start yelling at me and stuff, and when you get home, about the Miss I'm talking about the Miss Moriali and Miss Malloy thing. There was a fire drill, and I was getting something out of my bag already before the fire drill even happened. And then Miss Moriali told the whole class to get up. So she did, so I did too. And then Miss Malloy puts on the write-up. She told me 3 times, and she wasn't even close to me, and because I didn't hear anything from her. I didn't even think she was in the room. And then she asked me for the gum, and so I didn't want to give her the gum because I paid for that with my money, and I didn't want to give up my money. And another thing, because I knew you guys would have to come all the way down to the school to get gum, and that would be really, really dumb. And so I didn't give her the gum. I take full responsibility on that part. And then about the Miss Decimos thing, me and my friend were waiting in the corner to view.
End of message. To delete this message, press 7. Resaved. Next message.
Hey, Dad, if you might hear the voice message first before you hear the one that I've made first. So, and the thing about school, this is the Miss Decimo part. And so me and my friend were in the corner by the water fountain, and Miss Decimo said I was hiding behind there. And I don't know how I was hiding because I was sitting down on my friend's trumpet, and on the trumpet case, and she let me. And then Miss Decimo comes by, she's like, block me. And then she said that she told me to go to my bus, and I did. But right when she told me to go to the bus, I did, and the person that I was waiting for was right behind me. And then she calls you guys, and then you guys are all mad. But I did exactly what she said. I didn't talk back or anything. So, yeah. But anyways, I know you're going to punish me. Whatever, bye.
End of message. To delete this message, press 7. Resaved. End of message. Main menu.
During the course of the fire drill, I'm trying to remember. Something about that he wouldn't get up for the fire drill right away, and he was asked a couple of times to get up for the fire drill, and he was being insubordinate, as she said it. And then he had a wad of gum, and then she said, and gum's not even allowed at school. And he walked back over his desk to put his gum away or something like that. And she was basically giving me the same story that you just said. So. Yeah, except for it was a fire drill, and you're talking about a different issue, right?
Right, yeah. I'm talking about just, in general, basically. This last thing I just talked about was we're going to the buses. And, if he doesn't catch a bus, you guys are majorly inconvenienced.
Right.
And he's just lagging his way on. And it's like, no, you cannot do this. Now, as far as the fire drill is concerned, we the teachers, have to have the students out of the building in 2 minutes. And that's every student in the building.
Right.
So one student lagging behind can get the school in trouble with the fire department, that kind of thing.
Right.
We can't have that, and he knows better. He's been doing fire drills since he was, in kindergarten.
Right.
So, it's just...
And so you're not...
He just has an attitude.
So you're not calling about the fire drill, you're calling about something different.
I'm calling about later today, just now.
Okay, and that was getting on the bus.
Right, before they were getting on. I'm in the hall on the way from, I think he's in band last block.
No, he quit the band thing. He's in PE or something.
PE, okay. So anyway, he's coming from that into the hall, and he comes by me, and I get to say goodbye, have a good day, all that. And he was just hiding by the water fountain. And I kept telling him, you need to move, you need to go on, you need to get on your bus. And he's just standing there, ignoring me. And I said, and I walked over there, and I was ready to just grab his hand and start, pulling him down the hall. Because we've got to get his load of students out, and then we've got the next load of students that have to go. Plus, like I said, it's a major inconvenience for you if he winds up not getting on the bus.
Right.
He's not in his I can walk down the street or somebody else can take me home thing.
Right.
But it's just his attitude. I tell him to sit down in class, and he looks at me like I'm the crazy one, you know?
Okay, so...
And just, I don't know what is up with him.
So after last week, you know, he had got in trouble last week for with you, with the exact same issue and everything, and he was punished. And he was punished by both me and my wife.
Right, and he's up to it again, or still. He just has, I don't care attitude.
And so nothing got better?
It got better for a day or two, and then now he's back at it again.
Well, a day or two is only yesterday and today. I mean, this happened on Friday, I believe.
No, I don't think so.
Either Thursday or Friday.
I don't remember calling and talking to y'all last week.
You had called last week and left a voicemail about...
Because I don't see anything. We keep a log.
Right.
And I don't see anything about last week.
Okay,
maybe 2 weeks ago, so...
There was something about that you were trying to usher people during... It was testing last week. And you were trying to usher people out in the hall, and you told them to grab 3 things, and I forget what they were, and Vincent had his backpack. And you had told him to put his backpack back. That wasn't, you know, something, and then he argued and said he had pencils in his backpack he needed, and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, okay, I remember, yeah.
Okay, so you left that message, and that ended up being, and it's disrespectful, and he got punished for that severely. Yeah. And, you know, and so I guess that must have been Wednesday or Thursday, but it was during the testing phase. And so apparently you were doing all the testing, so you had him all week.
Yeah, every morning we stayed in homeroom to test. But he's in my room every morning anyway. He asked me for first period for science. You know, it's not like he had to go anywhere.
Okay, so on his end of the story, and my wife talked to him after the fact, after he was punished and everything, but his side of the story had to do with... I think my wife had asked him if he was the only student that had a backpack, and he said no, and she said, well, how many other students? And he said like 6 or 7 had their backpack too, and so she kind of feels like maybe he was singled out, but then I'm not really, you know, I want to believe you, but I also want to believe him, and since I'm not there, it's very, in fact, right as you called and my wife and I were talking, she's like, you know, I don't know how much credence to give to this stuff because I'm not seeing it, and there's no, you know, I want to see a video. I want to see him misbehave and talk back and have an attitude like that on video because I'm just not believing that he's talking back. This other teacher claims when he talked to my wife that he said the same thing, that I don't care. You know, she said, you're only 2 points away from getting an in-house suspension. He's like, I already had it last week. I don't care. Give it to me. And that's not my son.
Yeah,
that's not him.
And that's the attitude he has right now. So I don't know what's going on either. That's why I'm calling you, you know, because that's just not the way the boy behaves. He's just not like that.
But he's acting like that. Is that what you're saying?
Right now, yes, sir. And you know what? I wish, I don't mean to be vindictive on this, but I do wish we could video some of the, you know, the children so that their parents could see what they're doing, because I know I can understand what you and your wife are thinking. It's like, well, they're picking on my kid, you know. But I do understand.
Right.
I do really understand because it seems like, but it is. It's always the same 5 or 6 kids.
And see, and my quandary is this, you know, as I said when we were in the meeting, you know, that back last month, when he was in grade school and they had the color and the markouts and stuff like that, and those were the motivation things for behavior, after a while it got so redundant, and so it's like everything he did, if he was out of line at lunch, if he did this, if he did that, he was getting marked, and after a while we quit taking it seriously. We would look at his grades, and my attitude became, look, you know, he's getting A's and B's and a couple of C's, and that's what the job of the school is to educate my son. His behavior I'll deal with, because you know, it's like the boy who cried wolf. When do you believe that the wolf was actually there? But on the same token, he's older now, and he's being more disrespectful than he was when he was younger. So even though his grades apparently have improved, we just looked at him the other day, and so his grades have improved, I'm not discounting the behavior issue. It is a real issue, but I'm at odds to, you know, to think, well, he's one way at home and another way at school.
Well, one of the problems, though, with behavior is I do know what you're saying about you'll take care of him at home, but when we have to take care of something or he's doing something, wrong, it is interfering with other students' ability to learn.
Oh, no doubt. No, I'm not.
And that is a major concern for us, too. We're concerned about him, but I have to be concerned about 110 other students plus, whoever else winds up in my door.
Yeah, I understand, but
that's the biggie, and
yeah, but see, at this point, I'm a little bit I'm at a huge disadvantage because I'm not watching the behavior happen. Because if it were me, I'd be curtailing it right as it happened. And all I can do is hear the story, like when you called last week and left the voicemail about him being disrespectful like that. He got a spanking, and I haven't had to spank him for probably a good 10 months, almost a year. And it hurt me because I'm like, man, he comes up to my chin, and I'm like, and I even told him, I said, you're almost 13 years old and I got to do this again.
Yeah.
And my wife came home a couple hours later and she punished him too. And so, I said, look, you've got 5 weeks left. If I get another phone call from any of your teachers, I said, I'm going to come down there and discipline you in front of your class and embarrass you. And I said, mark my words, I'll do it. And he knows that if I say something, I'll do it. Now, that's not really, I don't know how possible that is. I'd love to make that happen, but, with the way things are.
Well, that would be something you would have to deal with the principal on, and I have no say on it.
Right. And so I thought, well, geez, if he can keep his mouth shut and just curtail his behavior for another 4 or 5 weeks, we'll be okay. And now all of a sudden, we're not even a week later, and I'm getting 2 calls, not just one. From 2 different teachers.
Yeah, well, if the one is about fire drill, that is like a majorly big deal.
Right.
This is important too. But I think the biggest thing is, I'm just seeing attitude. I know that it's spring. I know it's a full moon. That's what I told him. I know it's a full moon. I know it's spring. I know you just finished this stupid testing. I understand all those things. We still have to finish doing our work.
Sometimes there are bigger issues that I think sometimes, when you watch the news and hear stories and stuff that, that miss people. And I don't want to miss some other extenuating circumstances going on with him, but I'm not seeing it. Trust me, he is so encapsulated between school and home. He literally is kind of a prisoner. Not by choice. He just, there's no kids in the neighborhood to play with, and he's got all the video stuff.
And he's not in his community, because... Where would he go, to TAP?
No. Well, if he had gone, yeah. Yeah.
So, he's in a much better place.
Right.
Being here, but he's not in his community with a bunch of other kids that he knows, so that does make it difficult. You might want to ask him who he's hanging around with here, because it could be that other person's personality, and they have to be the macho thing. I'm gonna make sure that Bob sees me acting this way,
Right.
When it's really not him. That's not really the way he would act, but he's doing this acting job so that whomever sees him.
Yeah, he's fronting.
So, you might just want to check with him on that and see.
Because I don't. Well, I know, but see, you said that he was hiding behind the drinking faucet or the water fountain or whatever.
He's sitting right there on the wall. Hiding on the wall by the water fountain.
Well, there's nobody to front over there, is there?
Yeah, I was there.
Well, besides you, you said that he's trying to show up to somebody else, but there's nobody else there at the time.
Oh yeah, the whole school, 6th grade, is walking by him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, this is when we were leaving at the end of the day to go to the buses. And his bus, we have 2 loads, like they say, lanes 1 through 6.
Right.
And they all go load, and then we have 7 through whatever it is. And he's on that first row, that first group of buses. And his bus is the first one out, so that we can get him home at some sort of a reasonable hour.
Right.
So, he's got to get to his bus and be there. Otherwise, we've got the problem of him being left after school.
Okay,
that don't work.
Okay, so is that issue you're talking about right now, is that basically been all, or is it a classroom thing also still?
Oh, it's still classroom. It's still, this little attitude of I don't care, But today, that get on the bus, I don't care, just really, I wanted to pinch his nose,
Yeah.
So I wanted to let you know, I'm going to try and keep you guys in the loop, just because if we don't keep up with each other, then we can't help him either.
Oh, absolutely. And again, with this being so close to the end of the school year, he's got his privileges taken away. already, you know, and is kind of under punishment because of last week. And so there's not a lot more I can do except spank him again, and eventually, you know, that's, I mean, you know.
That doesn't work either.
So I'm trying to, I don't know, I'm kind of at wit's end. You know, what is a school, other than the points and the detention thing, what does a school do for, as far as counseling or discipline or something?
Well, the next thing down from detention is in-team isolation, where they sit in a study carrel for the day, and they don't get to move. They have silent lunch, you know, the whole 9 yards. They're not with their teammates, but they're in the team, so they hear what's going on in the classrooms. And then the next one is going to ISS, which, you know, you sit in a room with other students, but you don't have any communication with anybody for the day, and you just do your work. And then it's an office referral where Ms. Dukes would, you know, speak with you about the problem, and I don't know what they do to determine the punishments from there.
Right. Well, I think one of those alternatives, you know, if it is a peer thing, you know, that is being an issue, then I think one of those that you've mentioned, except for the last one, is probably in order. I mean, because, you know, that takes him away, as I've talked about before, the social aspect that he seems to think school is about. You know, that
Right.
gets him away from there and gets him focused on his work, which is why he's supposed to be there to begin with.
Right. Well, you know, his behavior card on his in his agenda, we have to follow that. So when he gets to whatever the number is on there, that's when we do the in-team isolation. That's when we do the so on and so forth.
So it's not,
you know, we have to follow that. That is the school's policy, as far as I'm concerned. You know, of course, the other thing, if it's a fight, that's another story in itself.
Right.
And some of the stuff that we have to mark down for is, you didn't hear me say that, is really stupid.
Well, you know, and
like the chewing gum.
Right, and that's one of the things that I think my wife is honing in on, is that she doesn't want to play this thing back in elementary school where he's getting a mark out for not standing in the lunch line, not, you know, being fidgety or this or that, because her thing is he can't do nothing. You know, he can't do nothing without getting some type of trouble or something, and how seriously do we take this? But on the same token, if he's telling, as he said to the other teacher, I don't care, I mean, literally, verbally saying that, that's an issue to me. That's a discipline issue to me.
He said that to me when I was telling him to get on, you know, get out of the corner and get to the bus. And he just looked at me and I said, you know, if you don't move it, I'll have to write you up on a chair.
Wow.
And I just looked at him and I said, I'll deal with you tomorrow. Because I'm going to be in his face tomorrow about it. You don't tell me I don't care. You know.
Yeah, and right now,
to let you know, and I'm going to be in his face about this tomorrow.
And right now, his big focus is on his look. You know, he's freaked out that he's got a pimple. His hair has to be just so da-da-da. And so the only tool I have left is embarrassment, and I have toward the end of the week off. And so I'm thinking, you know, is it possible, do you know if it's possible for me to sit in class?
Oh, yeah. You're more than welcome to come. Just call the office and let them know when you're going to be here.
Okay.
And they can work it out. There's no problem. And you know how my room is? There's that back room.
Right.
If you wanted to, you could come in and sit in this back room without him knowing that you're here and watch what's going on in my class.
Yeah.
You know, or you could just come and sit next to him in class all day long. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I think I might go with the first option first, because I want to see kind of firsthand, and then, you know, kind of surprise them, come out of the woodwork. When is your science class?
It's first block. Now the problem is that we can't do it this week because we're in a computer lab, so that won't work.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Well, you know, no, that wouldn't work.
What about Monday?
So you could sit in my room and watch in Miss Fitch's room, but I don't think you could do that without being seen.
Well, and some of it is that I want to be seen eventually, because I want to, you know...
well, you know, the embarrassment thing may be just go in and sit down next to him.
Right.
Just go in and sit down next to him.
Right. Because I told him if I got to come down there, I said, you know, your behavior, you know, I can't put handcuffs on your desk, but I can put duct tape over your mouth.
No, don't do that. We'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
Please make it painter's tape that comes off the Oh, I know, and I want to help him out. I understand the almost teenage boy thing, you know. I've got to look good. I've got to be, smell good. I've got to, and I try to notice when he comes in and he has cologne on, say, you smell good.
Right.
Try
Right.
to make a deal of it, or you look nice, or whatever, just because I know that they want that. I don't know they want to hear it from a teacher, but
Right.
at least it's being noticed. But I cannot deal with, I don't care. So,
Yeah, and that's just not coming from you, but Elizabeth as well. And Elizabeth hasn't called me back, but and I don't know her, but I'm going to take her at her word just because.
Yeah. And if she's calling you about something that happened at a fire drill, that is like a major problem.
Okay.
That is something that most likely she could write it up and give it to the principal.
Right.
Because that's a safety issue. It's not moving, especially if he's not moving and getting going. So
Right.
I'm going to let you go because I know
Okay.
you're going to turn into cauliflower here.
Yeah, I got to get back to work too.
But,
Okay.
we'll just keep pushing, and please know you can come home tomorrow probably saying that I got all over him, and I'm going to. I care enough about him to get in his face about it.
Right.
So, and hopefully we'll get him.
Okay. Well, I do appreciate the phone call, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.